As you can see, Pauline, it's pretty fun living in this country with those Nazis on the streets and shit. You know, like we've been through some pretty funny stuff. Pretty funny stuff. I mean, I tried to register the car, and the state wants to take it from me. And you can see that I tried to save a kid, and David Halpin turned into a war criminal over it. An actual technical 92 offender. A Rule 92 offender. I mean, it's a fun place to live, isn't it? You know, so fun that when you went to remember your dead, like technically remember your actual ancestors, your forefathers, your dead, right? So you organise this big ceremony, right? And you call it Australia Day 2020. Okay, and then you organise all the people to remember their Anzac and raise that flag and turn up at war memorials where those dead are actually remembered. Lest we forget, Pauline, lest we forget. Remember that part, lest we forget. Okay, and because all these people are bringing themselves together to consecrate a flag, that their Anzac actually flew into battle. They actually flew into battle on their horses, you know, like riding those horses into battle. And they came together to remember that flag, Pauline. And it's a key moment, Pauline, because we've now got, on a court record, we've got 7 or 9 cities, and we've got the mentioning of over 50 towns. So that's a real big population, Pauline. I'd call that a people. I'd call that a people gathering together to remember their Anzac in July 2020. July 2020, Pauline. You know, and as they were doing that, it was those New South Wales police, Pauline, those fixated persons in the State Protection Squad. State Protection Squad. What are they protecting, Pauline? The state or the people? And why do they treat the people underneath the state? Underneath the state, Pauline. Whereas the people of the colonies agreed to unite in one indissoluble, and you're the senator in that. Right, so they gathered together and they flew their red ensign, which their Anzac flew into battle, which is not forgetting, is it, lest we're forgetting. Right, so we didn't forget, and we arrived at their war memorials where they are actually linked. And Matthew Reason of the Fixated Persons Unit of the New South Wales Police Force decided that he should stop all of this. Stop it all, Pauline. Stop it all. Right, so he rings all the other police forces around the country. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Got a red flag. All these people, they are remembering who they are. We can't have that happening in God's green world while the elitists manage it all, Pauline. Can't have the subordinates know God. That's just not on, Pauline. Got to stop them from remembering they're dead. So Matthew Reason of the New South Wales Police Force took command, Pauline, of all these other police forces. He admitted it in the court document. Right, and then he attacked everyone on their war memorial while remembering their dead. That very action, that action alone, that very action of Matthew Reason taking command of the entire country to attack me and my people is a war crime. Is a war crime. Is a war crime. So Matthew Reason attacks, right? And he manipulates the situation with someone. And he has them arrested, Pauline. Merely for putting together a memorial day for Anzac. For our forefathers. You know, like on that $1 coin. 100 years, Anzac spirit strong, right? So we're there at these war memorials all across the country because Matthew Reason admits this in the court document, Pauline. And he attacks, commits a war crime, then arrests someone, manipulates the situation, and drags them before the courts, and has them put in jail, and then more war crimes are committed. Rule 92 offences, yet again, in New South Wales. But now we're in 2020, Pauline. So how many people were jibby-jabbed inside Forensic Mental Health New South Wales before I saw the squirty and our colleague got jibby-jabbied? Because these are all war crimes now. And I'll remind you, totally remind you, because you need to be reminded all the time. It was that cretin David Helpman that started it all, wasn't it? Couldn't have naked owners of a constitution front themselves before magistrates' courts. Oh, we do this in peace, order and good governance. So you admit it. And then you commit war crimes. Technical, actual war crimes. So you got magistrates on record saying that they do this in certain circumstances and then break those rules, Pauline. Break those rules. And then the police, I mean, I don't have to do anything else. I literally don't have to do a single thing. You've proven the human trafficking, Pauline. You've proven it. I mean, we've gone from trying to help a kid on the street to being the state attempting to jab me for doing nothing. Again, for doing nothing. We've got the state wanting to take my car for trying to register it. Again, doing nothing. For doing nothing. I'm going backwards in time now because this is a David Helpman problem that came from somewhere. It wasn't David. It wasn't David. Someone told David what to do. David was manipulated in his courtroom and someone came out of David's chambers. It was kind of bizarre. And they met me outside the front of the courthouse, Pauline. This is in Lismore. And they said to me, "You won't win in here, but you should keep going." And I was puzzled. And I knew what I was talking about, but I kind of was puzzled. And I said to this guy, "So I'm right then?" And he said, "Oh yeah, you're right." So we have these war criminal magistrates, Pauline, operating for foreign powers in our land. Not in line of authority to the people or line of authority to our ancestry. So the human trafficking part, it's got to be anchored somewhere. So who do you work for? Because now you've jibby-jabbied someone, actually jibby-jabbied someone, and that whole entire thing comes around believing in Anzac. Believing in Anzac. You jibby-jabbied someone for believing in their forefathers and their history and the lineage and ancestry of this very land, this very country, Pauline. And you ignore the Aboriginal ancestry in all of this to play games with them to destroy what Anzac forged on an international stage. I mean, with defences all the way up the coast defending what peoples, Pauline? It's kind of interesting that I've done fuck all wrong and you've twisted this whole entire situation into, I don't know what. I honestly don't know. Let's find out, shall we? Let's file in the Supreme Court and find out, shall we? Because it's kind of bizarre that you get attacked by the state's State Protection Squad who spend half their time on Facebook, Pauline, preying on people. While their little plebs prey on people on the streets, right? While they read computers and believe whatever they're told. And they don't even realise the whole truth. The whole truth is they work for a really evil command, Pauline. Seriously evil shit to do this to a population. I mean, we're talking the devil. We're talking about, some seriously evil stuff. And I think some of those justices in the Supreme Court, they want their line of authority back. They need to anchor into something real, Pauline, and not this evil shit that's continuing to circle around. And does it have any lawful authority, or you just manipulate it with bombs? Is that all? Like, you really have to think about the national security and a future defence of this very country, while you all play around with the money men. And the only thing I can say to everyone in the audience is to look at those farmers. They're not farmers, they're corporations. Because everything in the media, farmers, no. The real farmers, they get stung. They get hammered by the state. And now with corporate farming, all those corporate rules are going to be pushed around. Biosecurity, and poisoning your stock, and coming in and infecting what you do in the private. I mean, it's totally disgusting, Pauline, and we can demonstrate very clearly that your very police, protecting the state for what? By attacking the very people that are the owners of it all, the naked owners of all of it, Pauline. The naked owners of all of it, Pauline. I don't think you comprehend this in a line of authority here. Already established on the Supreme Court, or already demonstrating your police to be acting in very heinous and sick ways, Pauline. Very heinous and sick ways. I mean, does the state want the car for trying to register it? And then will you explain to the people every aspect of what happened? You won't, will you? Because you like to control them. You like to own them. Own them like slaves, Pauline. Push them around like wards of state that are too retarded to do anything else other than what they're told. Need the police with foreign crowns on their shoulder, Pauline. And we get to this crux point, don't we? Foreign crown. Where'd your flag come from? Does your constitution, does your people, real flag, real crown, it's displayed on the door of the Shrine of Remembrance, Pauline. Right? And then a biblical foundation that I don't think any of you comprehend in any way, shape or form while you get played for fools, including your police, getting totally played for fools by some serious evil people, Pauline, that hide in the shadows. Hide in the shadows, Pauline. Some serious evil people that hide in the shadows use their foot soldiers to do their dirty work. Red flag, red flag, red flag. It's the Tourette's of the state, Pauline. And you've been told now, I'm a victim of a war crime where UN inspectors came to that state to inspect the facilities, the very facilities where those actual war crimes are committed. And I can define very clearly what those war crimes are and who participates in them and who allowed it to occur, Pauline. And then I watched it happen to a colleague and I was disgraced, disgusted that you would continue the practices of drugging people merely for their beliefs. And then you get told by a court, the Supreme Court of New South Wales, that's not delusional to have those beliefs, Pauline. It's not delusional to have those beliefs, Pauline. And as soon as that penny's dropped, David Halpin's on the TV, isn't he? As soon as we start publishing that we know exactly what's been laid out on the table, David Halpin's all over the TV, isn't he, Pauline? So, I mean, aren't you obligated as peacekeeping forces to deal with war crimes that have been laid out? I mean, you do have a Brereton report, Pauline. And you do have Justice Lonergan being the one that defined this to not be delusional. And you do have Justice Lonergan going after all those pedophiles in the Catholic Church, Pauline. And you do have Justice Lonergan having the ability to go through an entire history, Pauline, while these police do what? With their foreign crown on their shoulder. What are they trying to protect, Pauline? The people or the state? When an assault occurs and the real people, the naked owners of the Commonwealth, stand up with their flags and everything, and an assault occurs and you get treated differently after being the victim of a war crime, Pauline, and then defamed and abused and set up and twisted and have all these red flags put on your computer, but by the very police that you caught out in a war crime, Pauline. That's interesting, isn't it? That's totally interesting. And then you get treated differently. That's interesting too. As peacekeepers, what war crimes are you continuing to commit? That's bias. And then you get caught out with this foreign crown. This actual foreign crown that's been now defined opens this door to all of these war crimes, Pauline. But justices are keenly listening, Pauline. You know, you think the police have won up by going into magistrates' courts, and then those justices in the actual courts, that they see the human trafficking going on every day, Pauline. That they see the way that our society is being treated by money men, Pauline, in the lack of any foundations with God, in the lack of any foundations with any God. And I brought that to the table for them, not for me, for them, because of all this evil, Pauline. I mean, you tried to drug me. I totally saw it. The liquid out the top of the needle. I just totally saw it. Imagine being force drugged with it. Imagine, I don't even want to hear the story because I have my own trauma. But the man that it happened to, I hope he talks one day, properly. This is really evil shit, Pauline. I totally saw it. Right, that's worse than bullets. That goes to the mind, Pauline. Into the mind, Pauline. To disturb the mind from having thoughts. Having thoughts that define actual, technical, real war crimes that saw UN inspectors enter this country to visit New South Wales and Queensland correctional facilities to inspect for those exact war crimes. I bet, Pauline. Because these war crimes don't exist without forensic mental health. And to everyone else that's listening, that's not mental health. Forensic mental health is an evil beast that only exists in jails. Okay? Mental health shouldn't exist. It should all come under the health sector, right? And it shouldn't be segregated into its own to allow people like Jordan Peterson to come and fuck with your mind. I literally fuck with your mind and then allow these people to destroy it and make it think different things or not think at all, merely because you believed in some sort of truth that you could prove. And this was the problem that they all had. I proved it. I totally proved it. It's a foreign crown on their shoulder, okay? These rainbow people don't care about the people at all, red flag. They're more than your nanny. They are your prison guard. They're more than your prison guard. They are your slave trader. Now, Correctional Services admitted to me that they were still in the modus of shipmates. Their role is to look after the ships in harbour. So a jail is a ship in harbour that has slaves on it, Pauline. A prison ship is a slave ship, Pauline. And then you have forensic mental health, at manipulating the minds of inmates, Pauline, while your shipmates manage the ships, Pauline. Right, and then they take to roads in those harbours, Pauline, right, because roads have shipping lanes, don't they, Pauline? And they ship these inmates between correctional facilities, Pauline. Different correctional facilities that have strange names, like farms, Pauline, and hospitals, Pauline, where you physically got caught in a Rule 92 offence. And it's about time the whole chain of events that came about to that Rule 92 offence got dealt with. Pauline. David Halpin triggered a series of events that he can't escape. It's on record, Pauline. It's on record. He's been on the TV doing his propaganda, and now he has to face the consequences of being a war criminal. Okay? And these are the same with New South Wales police officers that chose instead to commit war crimes and attack me and my people while remembering their lineage and their dead. At a war memorial, Pauline, that's a war crime in itself. Attacking a people that are unarmed people, Pauline, right? And then treating them like the enemy on a battlefield when technically you occupy them and enslave them and have been caught out at your practices. Totally caught out at your practices. And Albo and the whole machine, he's the one that helped everyone see it, Pauline. I mean, Scummo did a pretty good job of letting everyone see it, Pauline, but Albo took the icing and put it on that cake of everyone seeing it, Pauline. Right? And now they can comprehend what a war crime is and how they are actually treated, and the whole entire house of cards for the Queen of Hearts falls down, doesn't it? Alice in that Wonderland.